Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now we will cover lecture number 21 of Mechanics of Material 2, and this is about thin and thick wall cylinders or pressure vessels. Thin and thick cylinders pressure vessels. In general, a vessel of arbitrary wall thickness subjected to pressure contains a three-dimensional stress system. One's circumferential or loop or tangential stresses, that is sigma t. Second, radial stresses sigma r, and third, longitudinal stresses sigma l. I will show if this is the cylinder, stresses are being acted. So these stresses are sigma L, and if we take a square piece on the periphery of cylinder, this will be the sigma T, and this stresses will be sigma L. And if you take its side view, that is this one, these stresses, this radially acted, are sigma R. So this is sigma T. If you cross this section in the half, this is sigma T, these are sigma T, and this will be sigma R radially. Each of these stresses have a non-uniform distribution through the thickness of material, and the solution is statically indeterminate. These three stresses are mutually perpendicular. Thin wall pressure vessels. If the wall thickness is less than 120 of the internal diameter, Ti is equal to less than 1/20 of Di, or Ti is less than 1/10 of Ri, internal radius, then it will be called as thin wall cylinder or thin walled pressure vessel. The duration of tangential stresses through the wall thickness is small, and the radial stress may be neglected. So for thin, sigma R is very small, and it can be neglected compared to other stresses. The solution can be treated statically determinate. Then solution will be statically determinate. The vessel is said to be a thin wall vessel. These are used generally in engineering as storage container for liquid, powder, or gas. Stress will arise due to, say, internal liquid or gas pressure, for example in steam boiler, gas pipes, water supply, main pipes, and air vessels. So inside fluid will apply stresses. These pressures are generally taken to be uniformly distributed over the internal surface. So we assume these are acting uniformly. So if that I have this, if this is the cylinder, so all these things, this is x-axis, other axis, this is y-axis. So that is for Pi is for internal pressure. Pi internal pressure is being acted, and rest is, and here it is close and is shown. So longitudinal axis is x-axis. Pi internal pressure in excess of the external pressure. Ri internal radius of the cylinder, T wall thickness, L length of the cylinder, statically determinate. Sigma fx is equal to, so sigma fx, if you apply here, sigma fx summation of all, so one will be sigma L into 4. We will convert it into area into force by multiplying with this with area, and area is this one, 2 pi Ri T, that is 2 pi Ri into T is the thickness, that this area, this area is considered. On the other hand, Pi into pi r square, that is this is, so internally pressure is applied here, so due to that, and is applying here, and is here, because close end is here. If pressure is applied in close end, that will cause this to elongate. Sigma will be in this direction. Fine. So from here, sigma is equal to pi Ri over 2d, that is equation 1. Axial force due to axial stress, sigma in the internal material, is equal to the force acting on each close end of the cylinder owing to the internal pressure Pi. That is we have done here. 2 pi Rit is approximate area. Then second equation is sigma summation of all forces along y-axis should be 0, and along y-axis one is this one, sigma y, sigma t into this. So area will be, this is T, and here length is L. T into L, that is, this is T thickness and L is this whole length. So T into L, this plus this 2 times, so it is 2 times sigma T into 2TL is equal to Pi into, this is the internal area. So we will have a projected area that will be at this line, and that will be obviously 2RIL, where 2RIL is the projected area, that is projected area. This is dia, that is equal to 2RI internal, and length is L, so that will be the projected area. So sigma T is equal to Pi Ri over T, that is second, where 2RIL is the projected area. So now these are known, but these are for thin cylinder, not for thick. Now we have done for thin, where sigma R is neglected. Then coming towards thick cylinder, if this is the cylinder, here wall thickness is much more. So P naught is outside pressure, Pi internal. So here theta d theta, and this small volume is shown, that is this thickness is dr. From here to here it is r, and angle is d theta. Total radius from here to outer is r out, ro, and inner radius ri. Example of thick cylinders are gun barrels, high pressure hydraulic ram cylinder. The longitudinal stresses sigma L on the two faces of the element are equal and opposite, normal to the plane of the paper. Therefore, if you take, it is constant. So derivative with respect to this should be 0. Sigma L is constant. Sigma L is constant. If you look at this sigma L, that will be constant over this side and this side. That is not varying with the length. So if it is not varying with the length, so derivative with respect to dl should be 0. The rate of change of sigma r is d sigma r or dr. You take this small element from here, it is drawn here. So angle was d theta, total angle. So when you divide it into equal half, d theta by 2, d theta by 2, from here to here it is r, and this length is dr. Let's suppose here sigma t is acted at angle from this horizontal angle, that will be obviously equal to this angle, that is d theta by 2. Fine. So remaining is here internally sigma r is acted, and here there will be some increase in the differential, that is sigma r plus d sigma r over dr plus dr. So this is differential. The rate of change of sigma r along radial stress sigma r change will be d sigma r over dr, and the total change within the element will be d into sigma r over dr into dr. So summation of forces along radial axis, so one stress, second stress, and its sign component will be downward, and other are sigma r, this is positive, this is negative. So that is differential into, that is the area, because we have to convert stress into force to apply this equation. For that, stress into area minus sigma r into area, that is for these two, minus these two sigma 2 sigma 3, and as I have said, you sign component will be here. And what is the area of this? That is dr, and throughout length is L, dr into L will be multiplied here. For very small angle, sine d theta by 2 is equal to d theta by 2. When you substitute here, and when you having some simplification, you will get this equation in the last. Product condition is neglected, very small differential is neglected, then this will be the equation 6 will be the value. And how to get this? We know, if we take the derivative of r into sigma r with respect to r, that will be equal to this by product rule. So if this is written here, we can just substitute, instead of this we can substitute this one. That is the way. Sigma t and sigma r, that is first one equation. So now this is equation 6. Then again taking this, and now we are discussing about strain in radial and tangential direction. So that is radial displacement, strain on element in the radial direction, epsilon r, that will be this equation, epsilon r. Epsilon t, that is tangential strain, that will be this equation 8, and epsilon l will be delta l over l, that is equation 9. Writing strain in terms of stresses, that is generalized Huxley. Epsilon r, epsilon t, epsilon l can be expressed in these way, and this was equal to, as described here, it is u readily. So that was discussed here. So basic definition of strain is changing length over original length. So that is changing length over original, that is changing length over original, changing length over original. So we have 10, 11, 12. Differentiate 11 with respect to r will be equal to this. Substitute the value of this from equation 10 and 11, substitute it here, this will be the equation. And in the, since here we know if that differential exists, so that will also be true for strain, longitudinal strain. So for that it should be equal to 0, because sigma l, because length is constant due to closed. So when you put here, you will get this equation, this relation from equation 6, that is the relation. Substitute the value in equation 13. Equation 13 we have again here, that is equation 13. Put the value here, simplifying, this is equation 15. This cannot be 0, so it should be 0. And again this can be written in this form. So d sigma l over dr 0. Therefore Mson is constant through the wall thickness, so it will also be 0 according to here. Integrating will give you 2c1. So a relation of sigma t and sigma r, that is, and from equation 6, that is the relation. One relation is this, another is this. Substituting the values, get the value of, that is, add equation 6 and 16, that is equation 16 and this is equation 6. When you add, it will be in terms of sigma r. So sigma r will be in terms of this, and it consists of one integral, one differentiation. So by rearranging like this, multiplying by this, and then taking the integral will make it involvement of c2. Sigma r will be in terms of c1 minus c2 over r square, that is equation 17. When you put in equation 16, you will get sigma t. So that result has been obtained. C1 minus c2 over r square, c1 plus c2 over r square. C1 c2 are constant, and by applying the boundary condition, that will be when you are at internal radius, what is the pressure being acted? That is internal pressure Pi, and obviously it will be in opposite direction than the radial stress. So inside, if you look at this here, inside pi is there, and it is opposite to sigma r. That's why boundary condition will be sigma minus pi, and when you are outside, then sigma r will be minus p out, because now outside now it is upward, outside, and pressure p naught is being acted inside, like this p naught. So these will be the boundary condition. When you put these value, you will get c2. When you get c2 and c1, substitute. So these will be the last equation. Sigma r will is equal to pi ri square minus p naught r naught square over r naught square minus ri square minus pi minus p naught into ri square into r naught square over r naught square minus ri square into r square. That is equation 21. And sigma t, it will be pi ri square minus p naught into r naught square over r naught square minus ri square plus pi minus p naught into ri square into r naught square over r naught square minus ri square into r square. These equations were first derived by Lamb and Klepper in 1833. These are called Lamb equations. Note that sigma t plus sigma r is constant over the whole cross-section area of the cylinder. So these value sigma l is constant over the entire cross-section area. So let the radius ratio r naught over ri is equal to k. R naught is outer, so k will be greater than 1. In terms of k, this is the equation. These are the equations 23 and 94. It is important to note that stress depends upon the k ratio rather than on the absolute dimension. So it depends upon the ratio, radius ratio, than upon the absolute value. For special cases, internal pressure is only put p naught 0 in this equation, so it will be, the value will be this. Sigma r is always compressive and sigma t is tensile. Tangential sigma r is compressive, radial stresses, and hoop or tangential stresses are always tensile. At the inner surface, this will be the value. So meeting both maximum at r is equal to ri. So at inner, sigma r and sigma t will be maximum, because here p naught is maximum, and minimum at r is r naught. In this case, in internal pressure only, sigma t always greater than sigma l. Yes, remember, sigma t is always greater than sigma r. In case of thin, we have neglected the sigma r. That is so small that we have neglected in case of thin cylinder. But in case of thick cylinder, we have derived the relation, and we know hoop stresses or sigma tangential stresses sigma t is greater than sigma r. So sigma t max minus sigma t min is equal to pi. After sigma r max minus sigma r I is equal to pi. This will be the relation. And when you show the stress distribution, this is for sigma t and this is for sigma r. So for sigma t, it is higher at inner, it is also higher at inner, but it is less than sigma t, and it is minimum at outer, but sigma t still have some value at outer radius. Tau max, again, it is according to Mohr circle, maximum sigma 1 minus sigma 3 by 2. So that is sigma t. Here maximum is sigma t and minimum sigma r. So sigma t max minus sigma r max is equal to, so this will be the value of tau max pi k square or k square minus ki. That is tau max in case of thick cylinder. Arrange the thin cylinders formula. So these were for thin. When you compare with this, comparing here, putting the value r or rt is equal to 10, you will get 5.2. So conclusion is that by assuming a cylinder having t is equal to ri over 10 as thin, the maximum error should be 5.2. So if you use assumption of thin cylinder, error will be 5.2. If you use thick cylinder, it will be the exact one. External pressure only, that is second case. In internal will be 0. So these will the result, sigma r sigma t. So these will the result, and now stress distribution will be like this. So axial stress strain are, to axial means sigma l, so sigma and epsilon l we have to find. So if case cylinder with end caps, but free to change in length, and it is free to change in elongate. It is free. In this case, there must be equilibrium between force exerted on the end cover by the internal pressure and the force of the axial stress interior across the wall of the thick vessel. So that will be the relation. You will get sigma epsilon L. Sigma L is equal to this, and pi over k square minus 1. Whereas epsilon L will be putting the value, it will be pi over e into k square minus 1. 1 minus 2. For external pressure only, that is the case. In this case, there must be equilibrium between force on end cover by the external pressure and force. So area will be changed here. It is R naught. So it will give epsilon sigma L this one, epsilon L this one. For pressure retained by piston in each end of the cylinder, or if one end is open, epsilon L is 0. So epsilon sigma L is 0. Then internal pressure, put the value that by generalized Hooke's law you will get epsilon L equal to this one. For external pressure, epsilon will be this one. So cylinder built in rigid end supports. Now uh, the ends are rigidly connected, so it cannot elongate, or you can say strain along longitudinal axis will be 0. When you put here, sigma L will be this one. For internal pressure only, this will be the value. For external pressure only, this will be the value. Thank you very much.